Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we are here at the beautiful Jubilee Center, located at 601 Jackson Street in Hoboken, New Jersey. And we are so excited because there's a lot of hot tickets in town, but nothing more hot than the early childhood education admissions in this town. And the people joining me for the first part of the segment and the second part of the segment are instrumental in obviously not only accepting the children, but, teaching our wonderful 3- and 4-year-olds. And that is, in the first part of the segment, Kim Mara, who's the Director of Early Childhood Education. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Peter. Nice to be here.
Exactly. And might I say, you look great with registration coming up,
I'm making it through.
Exactly. And Zulma Ortiz, who is a family advocate for Mile Square Early Learning. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Very excited.
Oh, yeah, I could tell. Yeah, you're getting me even more excited. That's difficult. And of course, Evelyn Hayes, who is the family advocate for the Hopes Cap Early Learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Well, thank you for having me.
No, we came here, so that's
thank you for coming to the Jubilee.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Kim, let's start with you, Miss Mara. As I mentioned at the top of the show here, it is extremely filled all the time. The slots for the early childhood, our pre-K 3 and our pre-K 4 programs. Registration deadlines are coming up. And I think there's a couple important messages that you want to.
There are. So first and foremost, we have our preschool information session coming on Friday, February 21st. We have 2 openings for that. We have a morning session and an afternoon session, just kind of going over everything with registration, what that looks like, what goes into it. And then March 24th to the 28th is registration week. So that's a big time. Big ticket item for everyone in Hoboken.
Exactly. And you and I were talking before the segment started about the number of students in our early childhood education. I mean, just 10, 15 years ago, I think that number was at 300 and we are at
around 1,000 students with our general education and our special education classrooms.
Is unbelievable. Exactly.
And it's spread out around 8 different locations. So we have 770 Brant, Calabro, Connors, here Jubilee, Rue, St. Francis, and Wallace.
Wow. Well, I'm surprised I can barely remember my name and my title. But anyway, but it takes a team. And that's why you have wonderful team members here, right?
We do. We have 2 wonderful providers, Mile Square and Hopes. Mm-hmm. And Mile Square has been with us just the same amount of time as Hopes, about 25 years. They've been here and servicing the preschool students in our district. And the families and the students would be so blessed to have family advocates like Zulma and Evelyn here who work with them and their families, and they are a key component to our preschool programs.
That is fantastic. And we're blessed to have you on the program. So now to Zulma and Evelyn, same question for the 2 of you. We'll start with Zulma. And that is basically how you guys work with the district. You guys are different providers. You're not under the same company, but you do provide resources and so on and under contract with the Hoboken District Schools. How do you work with the district and also, more importantly, with parents who have their son or daughter in the schools? Zulma, you first. Yeah.
So for me particularly, keeping the parents informed and involved. So working with the district, I am the initial person who will take all of their paperwork, have them fill out their enrollment packet. I basically hold their hand, though, especially for first-time parents who have never had a child in a Mile Square, in a school setting, basically, not just Mile Square, but Hopes. We kind of just work hand in hand. We take, if parents need resources for their children, if they feel their children are struggling, that go-to between the parent and the teacher, the go-to between the parent and even the district. If there's not something I can provide for them, I will reach out to my director, who in turn will reach out to Miss Mara. But basically, our job is to make sure that the parents understand they're not alone. Their children are our children. Like, that's the main thing. My kids went through Mile Square, both of them. Wow. They went and we loved it. We had an amazing experience. So I can't speak highly of the early childhood program here in Hoboken.
Terrific. Evelyn, anything to add on that?
Yeah, just we're like, I like to say, like, we are like the first connecting for the once they do the registration process, we meet them with like at the intake process. So we get to know them before like they meet with like the teachers and things like that. So we kind of just get them comfortable on that, that whole process going into. And then with difference between like with the Mile Square and the Hopes, like we also work with Head Start. So we work with more like the income based. So we, with my side of the family advocate and the other Hopes, we work with like helping families with, goal setting and trying to help them better themselves, and how we can collaborate with our our resources outside with the BOE, or even if it's our own Hopes program, community programs, or other programs within Hoboken or outside to better assist the families, whatever needs that they may have. So we just all come together to community-based and the schools to work together.
That is terrific. And Miss Mara, I want you to add on to that, because the public schools have resources, sitting right here that can help, as Miss Ortiz mentioned, first-time parents, and as Evelyn mentioned, they're there for you. Why is that so important, especially for maybe financially disadvantaged students in town?
School in general is a super big step for anybody, and to put your child into a school setting after never being in one before and sitting back and going, oh my goodness, what do I do here? And to know that you have services and people who are there to help reach out, understand what you're going through, and really pull that in is super important. And on top of what they do, we have We Passport, we have parent trainings. We had one this morning about health. So we do a lot of different things to make sure that these parents know what's going on in their child's classroom, and can be an active supporter in their education.
Well, fantastic. Unfortunately, we are out of time for this half of the segment, but Miss Mary, you're not going anywhere.
Not
You're
going
staying right there. We are going to bring in some teachers in the next half segment. Azuma Ortiz, Evelyn Hayes, thank you for all your hard work for this district and for all the parents. We really, really appreciate it. And not more importantly, less importantly, for coming on the Pulse.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Thank you. All right, folks, back in just a few short seconds. All right, as promised, Miss Mara is still here, the Director of Early Childhood Education here at the Hoboken District Schools. Thank you for staying with us.
Anytime.
Appreciate it. And then we're joined by two professionals in their fields, and I know I'm going to get their titles wrong, but that's okay. I'm going to try it. And that is Nicola Legal, who is the PIC, which stands for
Preschool Instructional Coach.
See, that's why I made you say it and not me. And of course, Carolyn Best, who's our PERS. I don't even want to try it. Go ahead.
Preschool Intervention and Referral Specialist.
So I'm just going to call him Pick and Purse.
Much
Thank
easier.
you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. And for opening the windows. It was a little hot in here last night. The audience didn't notice. Ms. Mara, we're going to start with you, though.
Okay.
We spoke a lot about family involvement, how families could apply with their 3- and 4-year-olds coming up in the next few months. Let's talk about curriculum. Let's talk about what families can expect having their son or daughter start either pre-K3 or pre-K4.
One of the things I love about our preschool program is our curriculum, and that is Tools of the Mind. So not only do you have an academic-based program, but it really focuses on social emotional skills and self-regulation. So you get a really nice foundation to start off the rest of their learning.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Nicole, I guess on to you, as her direct supervisors, and Cameron, this question's for you as well, for it's both of you. How do you shape the curriculum and assist Miss Mara in making sure Tools of the Mind is fundamental to our 3- and 4-year-olds?
So we're really responsible for, coaching the teachers in the curriculum. Something really great about Tools is for our 3- and 4-year-olds, they don't want to sit at a desk all day and learn. So Tools of the Mind gives them the opportunity to learn through make-believe play.
Wow, really? That is phenomenal. Cameron,
Yeah.
Dad, yeah.
Well, and as a PERS specialist, we really help with coaching, and we provide professional development to teachers so that they can teach children social emotional skills, which is, what they need in order to be self-regulated and emotionally regulated in order to learn.
Yeah, no. And Miss Barrow, we spoke about this in the last segment. It's really a well-oiled team here.
It
I
is.
mean, you have people who are helping out, like Evelyn and Zulma, who are helping out parents fill out applications, to our specialist on set with us, where I feel very nervous because I am far less qualified than anybody on set right now, who are literally training teachers to make sure that your students, your children at home are learning these fundamentals. How important is that to have this team in place?
It's super important. And I think that being said, us having the group that we have and how well everybody works together really provides an experience unlike any other.
Yeah.
So we're really lucky in Hoboken to have such a great group of people come together to support our almost 1,000 students
So
and
1,000 students, how many teachers?
65
65.
classroom teachers, and then you have a teacher's assistant in each classroom.
Wow, you guys are busy then, huh,
We
Nicole?
are. I mean, we're one of four. So there's
Yeah.
4 preschool intervention and referral specialists.
And for preschool instructional coaches.
Yeah.
And that's terrific. I mean, and that just goes to show you the resources that the district and the Board of Education and Dr. Johnson is giving to early childhood by providing all of these specialty personnel to train people. Best part of Nicole and Karen, I'm going to go to you. Best part of your job, basically teaching the teachers and teaching the teachers, right? And training them.
We get to get into the classroom and spend time with the kids, which is really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it's the growth that we see in the children and even in the teachers as we're coaching them. Like we see them grow professionally and we see the children grow in their ability to regulate and to learn. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really, really is.
Yeah.
And Miss Mara, between 3 and 4 years old, um, I guess as a person going into a pre-K 4 classroom, as somebody's son or daughter, what do you expect them to know from when they were pre-K 3 students?
So what we expect them to learn is they know the rules, as you could see over there.
So cute.
You have all of your rules, your classroom expectations, everything that they're supposed to learn. They start learning their letter sounds, letter formation, and pre-K 3 is just the basic of it. But when you get into pre-K 4, you really start pulling in your numbers, your letters, how to write, how to recognize their name, their first and their last name, which is important because when you go to kindergarten, these are these skills that you're going to build off of.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. One more question for all three of you, and I swear I'll let you go. And that is Hoboken. Why is Hoboken so unique as compared to other non-public schools in town or other districts and so on and so forth? We'll start with Ms. Smith.
You walk the streets of Hoboken and it is just an eclectic melting pot. And that is what our schools are like. And these children get to go to school with people that they may not normally walk around with, play with. And that is, I think, one of the most unique parts about our town.
Absolutely. Ms. Legal?
I mean, not to be biased, but we're pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just awesome.
Like similar to what Director Mara said, it gives the children an opportunity to enter a diverse classroom where, they're exposed to different peers, different cultures, all of that fun stuff.
Unbelievable. And Ms. Best?
Well, I think parent involvement is second to none. I think our parents love being part of our program and we invite them to come into the classrooms and to volunteer to go on field trips. So parent involvement, I think, is definitely
Terrific.
amazing.
I have nothing else. You guys were great. I really, really appreciate it. Carolyn Best, Nicole Legal, and of course, Director Mara. Thank you so much. Congratulations. This program keeps getting larger and larger and larger. It is an unbelievable task from top to bottom, as you could say, and we really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you so much. All right, folks. We will be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back. I'm your host with the most on this segment of The Pulse without that bum Biancamano, and I'm so glad to be joined by Kennith Gonzalez, the NJGOP State Director. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, I mean, this is really excited. You got the job. You appointed the position on January 1st. It's only a couple weeks later, And everybody that's been involved in Republican and conservative and freedom-oriented circles in Hudson County knows you because you are from Hudson County.
That's right. Union City, born and raised.
So what's it like in your new position?
It's good. I've been involved in the party. As you know, we met through politics since I was 13, 14 years old. So it's nice to be able to do some work at the state level and help with not only races here in Hudson County, which typically haven't gone our way, but now the tide is turning. Being able to be involved in races all over the state, competitive gubernatorial races and assembly races and everything else is, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Wow, this is really exciting stuff. I mean, like you said, you know, the tide is turning. There is a significant chance that New Jersey goes or becomes a swing state, not just on the gubernatorial level, which it has a track record of swinging back and forth, but maybe even on the presidential level. And, you know, that could have an effect on down ballot races for Congress and for state assembly, for state senate in areas that we don't usually think of as in play.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And I would even correct that and say New Jersey is already a swing state. We saw last year when all the media and the pundits were focused on Arizona and Nevada and everything, and everyone thought President Trump was going to lose New Jersey by 15, 20 points. He stood no chance. And if you were watching the news on election night, for the first time in a long time, it took him a long time to call New Jersey. And at the end of the day, President Trump lost by, it was less than 6 points, the closest margin ever for a Republican presidential candidate in New Jersey since 1992, which is absolutely insane. And in large part, that was thanks to President Trump's strong performance in Hispanic areas like Hudson County. We flipped Passaic County, which was unreal. So I would say Republicans in New Jersey have a lot to be proud of. For the first time in a while now, the Democrat versus Republican registration gap is under 900,000, which is great. And I think one of our goals this year is to get that number to closer to 825,000. And that's how you keep chipping away at it. And you don't necessarily need to have more Republicans than Democrats in order to win New Jersey. We've seen it happen before. And other states like Pennsylvania, President Trump just won, and there's still more Democrats. So it's a work in progress. We're going at it. But Hudson County came out nice and strong for President Trump, which really does show that people were just tired of the status quo. They thought he was going to be better on the economy and other issues. And you know the spiel. And it's about continuing to move from here, but never being complacent, right?
Oh, no, you can't. You have to keep up that momentum. It's funny you brought up 1992. I was 10 years old, and because I was so young, I was a Democrat. But as I got older, I learned and wisened up, unlike my friend Peter Biancamano. But you brought up President Trump, and love the guy, and you brought up how Pennsylvania was flipped, and it just made my head say, what's his name? Scott Pressler.
Yeah.
From, Trump world. I know officially his Get Out the Vote organization is legally nonpartisan, although it's obviously aimed at getting out, let's say, conservative and liberty-leaning voters out. Do you think that's going to have an effect on the gubernatorial race?
I absolutely do. And we, all the county chairs, the county Republican chairs in New Jersey, met with Scott yesterday and had a great conversation welcoming him to the Garden State. And we look forward to it. Look, anybody and everybody that wants to help get out the vote in New Jersey, anybody that wants to empower more people to just vote, really regardless of the way that you vote, just empowering people to vote. It just so happens that now new voters are swinging our way, so we want as many of them as possible. But anybody that's willing to help, we welcome them with open arms. New Jersey and Virginia this year are the only two states with elections, so all eyes are going to be on New Jersey. And Virginia already has a Republican governor, so I would hope that even more eyes are going to be on New Jersey. We need the help more than anybody else. And we're looking forward to a great year, especially here in Hoboken and other places in Hudson County, getting people who might be registered to vote in other states and that have moved here to Hoboken for work in New York City. One of our main goals is to get them to register in New Jersey and vote our way and really make a difference in the place that they live.
Well, myself, along with Hudson County Republican Chairman Jose Arango and a number of other leaders in the county party. I'm not a leader in the county party. I'm just an activist that likes to write. But we banded together and wrote an op-ed that was actually published recently, and we argued that, and I know you can't take a side because you're working for the state party,
right?
And we're not taking a side in the GOP gubernatorial race, but we just want a candidate that, you know, is going to emulate President Trump and reach out to Hispanics and Jews and blacks and Arabs and the gay community and all the different types of Americans, but without engaging in that classic left-wing pandering, you know, that talks to them as if we have more differences than we have more in common. Well, we really do have more in common. We're all Americans. We all want our country to be prosperous. We all want the economy to grow, and we all want to be safe and have freedom.
Right, that's absolutely right. And we have several good candidates, good Republican candidates that are running for governor, and they're all going around the state sharing their ideas. And each one of them brings something different to the table, right? A different personality, a different perspective. And it's important for their message to get out there. And one thing that as somebody for the state party would hope is that if there are any Democrats out there that happen to like one of these Republican candidates or any independent voters that happen to like one of these candidates, you only have until about April to switch your party to vote in the Republican primary. So last year, from that January 1st to April deadline, 21,000 voters in New Jersey switched from Democrat or something else to Republican. Let's double that number this year and really raise the bar and the enthusiasm for November.
So we only got about a minute and a half left, and you talked about your goal in terms of beginning to close that or shrink that registration gap, which is already shrunk between registered Democrats and registered Republicans in our state. What are some other goals you have as state director?
Well, President Trump showed which communities here in New Jersey are primed for change. And the Hispanic community is number one, top of mind. I happen to be Hispanic. My parents came from Cuba in the 90s. I'm fluent in Spanish. When they came from Cuba, it was either Union City, New Jersey or Miami, Florida. And they picked Union City. So here I am, for better or worse. But it's a very good thing. So we hope to get into the Hispanic community because the Hispanic community has already shown that they're sick and tired of being manipulated and controlled by the Democrats for so many years. They're willing to have their own mind, their own voice. They came out and voted for President Trump, but they're not going to vote Republican again unless we really pay attention to them and tell them, hey, look, Hispanic values are Republican values: faith, family, finance, and freedom. And it's up to us as a party to really make a strong relationship with that community and get them to vote our way. They are the path to victory in November.
Well, Kenny, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for
on the
having
show. You have 10 seconds left. Tell people why they should vote Republican.
Faith, family, finance, and freedom. Republican Party.
That's the best. I love it. I love it. I want to have you back. Will you come back sometime in the future?
Anytime.
All right. Well, stay tuned out there in TV land and on the interweb. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Fios Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano back in the host chair and still here at the gorgeous Jubilee Center located at 601 Jackson Street. And as you can see, I'm very jubilant because we have an extremely special guest today, and he's making his Pulse premiere, and that is the Honorable 36th Mayor of the City of Hoboken, my good friend David Roberts. Welcome to The Pulse.
Nice to be here, Peter.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
You know, Mayor, we've been on 6 years now. I was thinking you were going to come on before, but better late than never, correct?
I often watch your show and appreciate the communication that you provide. And also, I want to plug the Hoboken Public School District, that early childhood program, and the enormous benefit that has been to the city of Hoboken. You know, in the 10 years since, the decade has been since I had some involvement with Hoboken, one of the noticeable changes that I see are there are so many children and students in the public school district, and it's great to see that. And I applaud the superintendent and all of the teachers, the faculty, the staff. It really is a remarkable metamorphosis which occurred. And there was a second observation as it relates to education. Stevens Institute of Technology, you know, for many years, we always wanted Hoboken to be more of a collegiate city, and it never really took on that demeanor. Now I look around and I walk down Washington Street and I just see a huge amount of activity in the city as it relates to the college. So those two things are really noticeable and good changes and changes for the better.
That is amazing. And you continue to be selfless. You were a selfless mayor. You always worried, about everybody else but yourself, which is just a testament to your character.
Thank you.
And and we kind of want to talk about you today. We kind of want to talk about your time after politics. You have done many charitable things. You obviously own several businesses in town, and you are a proponent of affordable housing. But why don't we start with what have you been up to after your last day in office?
Well, after 25 years and there was 8 elections and I started, I was a young man and of course my partner in all of this was my wife, Anna, and she was a great partner in not only as we raised our family and made a life together, but she would give me advice about public life, and she never participated in the politics, but when it was necessary, when something moved her, she was very much involved. And so we were taking a walk years ago, and I had been approached to run for city council. And I said, I don't know much about this. And Anna said, oh, let's do it. I mean, you'll learn how to do it. And so the first poster we had, our late friend Maurice Fitzgibbons had a poster, and we had a low budget campaign, and the poster was making a difference. I think Robert Torricelli may have had that as his slogan, making a difference. So 25 years comes and goes, and of course I elected not to run for re-election. I was very pleased with 25 years of service. But Anna had said to me, if I should decide to run again, the slogan should be, what's the difference? So at any rate, that Peter, so it went by, and my life after politics, things took place, of course my wife's illness, and and that came to a conclusion. Anna had passed away 3 years after I left office, and then of course my daughter Amanda and my son David and Christopher, and Christopher was still starting college, and David had just finished, and my daughter was getting married. So I was very busy with being a maybe I'm too involved. I think they would rather me keep a good distance. But I was very involved in making sure that my 3 children were doing well.
And I think it's important to mention you were also a fireman in
Oh,
town.
many years
so
ago,
public service has been with you throughout your whole adult life.
You're being a little generous here. If there's one of the many recollections of my firefighting, it was 4.5 years, and I did learn a lot. Was visiting your parents' delicatessen, and the guys would send me out to get lunch, and of course Bianco Mano had the greatest sandwich to this day. It's hard to eat it at one day. Forget about one sitting. But
Exactly.
At any rate, that was a nice part of my life and my life story. And some of those friends I still maintain, friendships with. But Hoboken has always been good to me. The restaurants, East LA restaurant, my son now runs that, and he's doing a great job there, along with Ryan, a manager we have. And David works very hard with real estate. He was, after college, he went on to work for a short while at the prosecutor's office, and then he took the real estate exam, and we, as you know, we're involved in real estate. So David runs that area. And my daughter Amanda, well, she's a school teacher by training, but she has she's given us 2 beautiful granddaughters, and her husband Pat is my son-in-law is a great young man, and so that's my life. It's I do a little work with both of my sons, and the rest of the time I try to get my steps in each day.
And I mentioned it several times. You are very, very humble. Symposium Bookstore, right next door to East LA.
Right.
The mayor also is the landlord owner of that building, but he basically gives a massive discount to those folks so we can have a bookstore in town.
Yeah. I think it was, oh God, it must be well over 25 years ago, but we needed the space for a campaign. And so after the campaign was over, one of the volunteers had approached me and said that there's this not-for-profit, they do good things in the community, and would you be willing to, go along with them and give them, a low rent, and they could start their community building, and they do a lot of nice things in the bookstore, and I thought it would be a temporary relationship, but we're now beyond 20 years, I believe, and but they do good things. Her name is Carmen, and she's a lovely woman, and they do lots of social building and different groups and so on and so on. But
Well, unfortunately, man, we are out of time.
Okay.
But this is only the beginning. We hope
Okay.
to see you on future shows.
Yes, indeed.
And hopefully it doesn't take another 6 years, but we'll talk about that another time. Thank you for all your hard work and all your service to this community and what you continue to do post elected office.
Good,
And
Peter.
again,
Good.
hope to see you again in a future show.
Thanks, Peter.
The 36th mayor of the city of Hoboken, David Roberts. All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.